Graduated from the University of North Florida with a Bachelor of Arts in History. He holds a Master's in Human Resources from Towson University in Maryland. A Space Systems Certificate from the Naval Postgraduate School and a Master's in Public Administration from Harvard Kennedy School of Government. He received his officer commission in 2000. Was designated a Naval Flight Officer in 2001. Currently, he is the Deputy for Public-Private Cooperation in the United States Southern Command. He has achieved several flying tours and shore assignments. He's also the current Operations Officer at United States Strategic Command. Special Activities, TACAMO, thank you, which stands for Take Charge and Move Out. And also as the Future Operations and Plans Officer for the Naval Network Warfare Command Space Directorate. He's here with his family, his wife Sharon, please stand. And together they have 3 sons, 2 who are here today, correct? The eldest, who is not with us today, who's a midshipman in the United States Merchant Marine Academy. Please welcome Lieutenant Commander Christopher Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. Van Rees, for that very warm introduction. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is a tremendous honor for me to be here. In 23 years, there's very few places, and there's only one to call home. And for me to be here today with you means a tremendous amount to me. I had to arm wrestle a colonel for it, and he wasn't too happy, but it just made sense. I have my own relatives buried here in this funeral, in this cemetery, and that makes it ever more special. I knew I had to come here and be with you today. Welcome also Congressman Wasserman Schultz, State Senator Sobel, Vice Mayor Hernandez. Thank you for your longstanding public service, commitment to our communities, and dedication to Veterans Affairs. Welcome also those relatives of military members who laid down their lives in service to this country, those we call Gold Star families. I don't wish to embarrass anyone, but if you are here today, would you please stand so that we may both honor you and your loved ones and acknowledge the sacrifices you uniquely endure every day for our country. Let me also recognize and welcome the veterans and the veteran organizations here today. In a country in which the number of veterans gets smaller every day, and the distance between our public and our military ever increases, your voices and your efforts provide the critical link that keeps the daily sacrifices of our service members alive in our communities. You keep the torch lit in memory of those who never returned from war, your comrades, your friends, those with whom you shared the most difficult times of your lives. Thank you for your service. I say it is an honor to be here with you today, but it is so much more. It is truly humbling. For Memorial Day is that one day out of the year that we collectively, as one nation, take a moment to remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country, who gave their last full measure so that we may enjoy the freedoms they secured for us. How can any words we say here today fill the void where those men and women once stood? President Garfield struggled with the same question when he delivered the first Memorial Day speech at Arlington National Cemetery in 1868. He began his address this way, saying, "I am oppressed with a sense of the impropriety of uttering words on this occasion. If silence is ever golden, it must be here, beside the graves of 15,000 men, whose lives were more significant than speech, and whose death was a poem, the music of which can never be sung. At that time, the number of U.S. soldiers who died in war was over 600,000. Today, that number exceeds 1 million. 1 million men and women who were both called and who volunteered to serve during times of conflict, and in so doing, wrote a blank check made payable to the U.S. government for up to and including their very lives. 1 million names is a statistic, but these men and women, each one an individual life, lived and dreamed, laughed, loved, hoped, and feared, just like we do. We gather here at this beautiful memorial garden, feeling the warmth of this day, and know that we are on hallowed ground. Hallowed both in respect for our many ancestors buried here, who struggled and sacrificed in their daily lives so we may live. And hallowed because in this cemetery, as in other cemeteries around our country and in many foreign lands, also rest the remains of those 1 million. To the world, many of them have become but a name, etched on a gravestone, or maybe only in a ledger of the missing, whose entire lives have been reduced to dates of birth and death, where they fell, and their religious preference. But each of these million names was a life known by those who loved them. Names like William Butler, radioman second class, United States Navy, who enlisted here from Hollywood. He gave his life for our country on October 25th, 1944, while flying with Torpedo Squadron 13 during one of the largest naval battles in history, the Battle of Leyte Gulf in the Philippines. Today, his body rests far from home, in American Cemetery, Manila. Like Sidney Mulliken Jr., First Lieutenant, United States Air Force, from Dania, back when it was called Dania, now it's Dania Beach. He gave his life for our country on October 9th, 1951, shot down while strafing enemy positions near Hyapkye-ri, Changhwa, North Korea, during the 8th Army's advance on Pyongyang. His friends called him Sid, and his remains were never recovered. Like William Corcoran, Corporal, United States Marine Corps, from Hollywood, who gave his life for this country on August 17th, 1968, while fighting enemy forces in Quang Nam Province, Vietnam. Trained as an amphibious assault vehicle repair technician, on that day, he was a Marine rifleman on patrol. Today, his body rests right over here in the Garden of Meditation. Like Timothy Burke, Specialist, United States Army, also from Hollywood, who gave his life for this country on October 4th, 2006, while fighting enemy forces in Taji, Iraq. As a kid, he played football and wrestled as a South Broward High School Bulldog. As a man, his body too now rests here with us on the south side of this very field. Or like Patrick Xavier Jr., Lance Corporal, United States Marine Corps, from Pembroke Pines, who gave his life for our country on May 18th, 2010, while fighting enemy forces in Helmand Province, Afghanistan. He was a Miramar High School patriot and joined the Marines